Today is October 15th, 2023, and this is your Universal Epic Universe Construction Update. Please remember to subscribe for more construction updates between now and when Epic Universe is scheduled to open in the summer of 2025. Now, without any more delay, let's get started with today's update, starting with the entrance area to Epic Universe. During our last update, there are two major things going on which I made predictions for. One, the security and missions gates will start to see the roof on the second side as well as finishing the first side, and the utility work should finish up close to the entry gateway. Using these new aerials from BioReconstruct, we can see that on the first side of the security and admissions gate, the upper and lower portion of the roof has seen its initial sheathing, as well as the upper portion of the second side has seen its initial roofing sheathing being put on. Over at the entry gateway, concrete has been poured over all of the utility work that we have seen for the last several updates. It is safe to say that the entry gateway for Epic Universe will look similar to the one found at Universal Studios in the main campus of Universal Orlando. Inside of the park, behind the entry gateway, the roofing work around the support buildings continues, as well as theming preparations where you can see some exterior walls being formed. Soon after entering Epic Universe, on the right-hand side you will run into the How to Train Your Dragon Land at the Isle of Berk. There has been significant work around the entry portal to the How to Train Your Dragon Land, with the concrete form that was present in our last update has been removed, revealing a concrete wall. This reveals the possible exit point of the How to Train Your Dragon Land. All around the land, they have placed temporary fencing around several of the attractions. This fencing was seen in the last couple of updates in Dark Universe around the spinning roller coaster. This means here soon, we should start to see some ride testing begin with the spinning rides as well as the launch coaster in the How to Train Your Dragon Land. There is a lot of other activity all throughout the land, mainly including in the center, right behind the lagoon, around the Great Hall restaurant and the possible retail location seen now. Around the land's full-service dining location, the Great Hall, the wire chip mesh has been seen added to the side of the building even more, as well as more steel framing that can be used for the theming elements made for the mountain that will be placed around the Great Hall. There has also been significant progress around the launch coaster in the land, specifically around both launches. At the first launch, the metal framing has been painted to look like wood, and the scaffolding has started to be pulled back so where we can see some of the detail. Around the second launch, the scaffolding has been pulled back around the rock work, and we are now able to see the detail. All throughout the entire path of the coaster, we can now start to see some of the sidewalks and walking paths that may be used for maintenance and inspections. If you look closely underneath one of the walking bridges, you can see that one of the ride cars is being pushed through the track with a ride envelope to ensure that guests cannot reach any of the theming elements placed throughout the track. The boat ride load station continues to get work where guests will enter and exit the boats, as well as the theming elements all around the boat ride's lagoon. The quick service dining location has started to see the rooftop theming element grow vertical since our last update. As guests enter the land, they are met with the main lagoon and the dockside theming that goes along with it. The footbridge that goes over the roller coaster will more than likely mirror how the entire pier side will look around the lagoon. Next door to the How to Train Your Dragon Land is Starfall Racers, where work around the coaster continues, mainly around the load station, where it can be seen actively as these aerials were taken that a new section of the braking area is being lifted into place and installed. At the front of the load station, near where guests will enter the load station, scaffolding is starting to rise around that celestial theming element in the front of the load station. Also around this part of the coaster, there has been some significant landscaping work been done to see that the coaster will go underneath of where guests are walking next to the load station. This can be seen with the plastic sheeting that has rolled down the formation of this landscaping. More than likely, there will be some sort of rocks here, since the plastic will keep any sort of weed or growth coming up through the rocks. Shifting next to the Wizarding World and the streets of Paris, there has been a lot more detail work on the rooftop buildings been exposed, as well as some interesting shapes in front of the portal, which look to be an octagonal fountain. These fountains and octagonal shapes have been found all around the park, including those in front of the Dark Universe portal and the kiosk in front of the barbecue restaurant. If you pay close enough attention, these octagonal shapes can be found all throughout Epic Universe. Something new that has actually popped up in the Wizarding World is this curious archway in the side of the Ministry of Magic building. This area could potentially be used as a queuing area for the feature ride in this land. Every update, more and more of the scaffolding that has been surrounding these facades around the streets of Paris is being removed, revealing more detail. And you can also see more detail through the scaffolding as the siding and windows are added to the building facades. Where this is most noticeable is inside of the courtyard, where guests access through an alleyway where a service restaurant will be. On the opposite side of Celestial Park, we have Dark Universe. Since our last update over at Dark Universe, the entry portal has seen a lot of the detail work go in to the trunk of the tree over the rocks around the entry portal. Looking closely through the scaffolding, you can see this detail. After guests make their way through the entry portal, but before they reach the village, it is rumored that guests will pass under a broken bridge. Last update, we did not have anything to say about the bridge progress. However, this update, we have seen scaffolding go around the right side of the rumored broken bridge. Inside of the village, we also see several rooftop framing elements that have appeared since our last update. Over at the entrance to the feature ride in Dark Universe, at the Gothic Manor, more of the detailed facade work has been exposed on the left side of the manor as the scaffolding has been removed. DeLacy's snack stand is also starting to see its walls being enclosed in preparation for the inside work. At Curse of the Railwolf spinning roller coaster, not much has been seen in differences between last update and this update, other than the trees have turned a little bit of a fall color, even though in Florida there isn't much of a fall. It is safe to assume that most of the work going on around Curse of the Royal Wolf is inside of the maintenance bays and load stations. Next door at the Burning Blades Tavern, plastic has been seen covering some of the concrete walls, which are more than likely to be themed as masonry walls. There has also been more work that has progressed around the outdoor seating area behind the tavern. Looking around the tavern, you can see that some of the concrete walls already have the masonry theming elements that are more than likely covered underneath of the tarps. Just down the road from Celestial Park outside of Dark Universe, we find Super Nintendo World and the Mushroom Kingdom. Outside Super Nintendo World, we see more work and theming elements progressing on the rumored pizza joint and more likely a Super Nintendo gift shop. Around the land's entry portal, we have seen a lot of path work being done, as well as now, more than likely, the exit pathway from Super Nintendo World from behind the portal going back into Celestial Park is visible. Inside of the Mushroom Kingdom, the exterior walls around Peach's castle is now up and hung, similar to the walls found over at Bowser's Lair. Across the Mushroom Kingdom over at Yoshi's Adventure, more of those green walls have appeared since our last update, as well as the facade work inside of Mount Beanpole can be seen more visibly through the scaffolding. Inside of Donkey Kong Country, some of that temporary fencing that we have seen at the Isle of Berk, as well as Dark Universe, has been placed around the Donkey Kong roller coaster. This indicates soon we may start to see some testing being done on the Donkey Kong Boom Coaster, which is the new patented design Universal has created specifically for this project. Just outside of Super Nintendo World, you find the Atlantic Restaurant inside of Celestial Park. Since our last update, there has actually been some interesting concrete forms that have appeared inside of the fountain that the Atlantic Restaurant is placed on. These could be some interesting fountain features that will go along with the restaurant. At the next water feature over, by the Celestial Carousel and the rumored splash pad, the pipes that we saw being buried last update are now completely covered, and the landscaping and preparation for concrete has begun around the rumored splash pad. At the Villaggio-style fountain main water feature of Epic Universe, the concrete forms we saw all around the fountain last update have since been poured, which you can see some of the detail in this aerial. The mystery building between the main fountain and the Wizarding World is continuing to get its walls poured and created. As well, now we can see some pilings in front of the building, more than likely for an overhang or some sort of a queue area. At the rumored Starbucks kiosk in front of the barbecue restaurant at Epic Universe, you can see that there is block walls behind the kiosk now, more than likely as a prep area for the kitchen. In front of the Grand Helios Hotel, the full-service restaurant, we can now see more than likely will be a footbridge going over the waterfall cascading water feature in front of the restaurant. As well as canopy frames have been constructed more than likely for outdoor seating. The Grand Helios Hotel progress continues vertical as more floors are poured each update, averaging about 1.5 floors per update. The tropical pool area next to the hotel continues to take shape as we see how the layout will be as more and more of the concrete foundations for the pool and other structures related appear every update. Each update, we also see more and more of the hotel's facade work being installed as we get higher and higher. South of Epic Universe at the two off-site hotels, the one resort that has been getting its last section built has completed its height and is now equal to its sister resort. This resort seems to be about 2 or 3 months behind its sister resort in the construction phase. More than likely, this is due to the fact of construction planning and project management, so each crew can finish its job on one side and then complete it on the following resort. On the resort that's further ahead, the colorful mural tiles continues to be placed as the section that was started last update continues down the side of the building. The side that continued round from the end will now meet up with a new mural, more than likely here in about a month. The pool out back, and what is more than likely a bathroom building, continues to take shape and progresses more and more as we get closer and closer to the opening of Epic Universe. That does it for today's Epic Universe construction update. I do hope you enjoyed it, and please remember to subscribe for more updates.